Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by my man, Audley Stevenson, the Odd Man. He'll unpack wisdom and insights from a cross-section of top quality performers in business, media, sports, entertainment, and lifestyle to uncover key elements to help you live your best audacious life ever. So without further ado, here is the Odd Man.
Hey, it's Audley Stevenson back for another edition of the most audacious podcast on the web. That's right. This is the Audacious Living Podcast, and it's a pleasure as always to be here as we continue our goal of helping you live your best audacious life ever. As always, our social media channels are just the best way to connect with us, and I encourage you to do so. You can like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel. Now, on today's episode, we're going to talk a bit about this thing called swagger. And we've got the perfect podcast guest to walk us through it and help expand what it means for us. You see, Leslie Ehm is a corporate trainer, she's a speaker, and the author of the new book, Swagger, Unleash Everything You Are and Become Everything That You Want to Be. And it's truly great to have her on the podcast again, talking about this thing called swagger. Now, I know some of you are probably saying to yourselves, what the heck is swagger? And ultimately, swagger is that thing it's inside of us, right? We all have it. And as Leslie will tell you, swagger is the manifestation of who you truly are. And it's for that reason why it's our job for us to be us. I'm gonna be me, you gotta be you, and we each have our own swagger. The person who we're supposed to be is inside of us, and it's for that reason why we shouldn't try to copy or emulate what other people are doing or act the way they act or try to talk the way they talk. Now, there certainly are things that we can learn from one another to help better ourselves, but discovering who we were really meant to be can only occur after we've shown the confidence of being ourselves. We need to know this is important, that we know and understand that the person who we are is exactly enough. Like I said, I'm really, really excited about my chat with Leslie because much like her book, it's a really, really fun conversation, and I think you're really, really going to enjoy it. There's definitely some synergies between swagger and being audacious. They're very much in line with one another, so it's so fitting to have her on the podcast. So without any further ado, here's my conversation with Leslie. Enjoy. Leslie Ehm is a speaker, coach, and author of the brand new book, Swagger, Unleash Everything You Are and Become Everything You Want. Leslie guides readers on how to both unlock and unleash their personal brand of swagger, as well as how to infuse it in all aspects of their lives. Swagger shatters the myths around fake it till you make it and shows you how to record over negative mental tapes and challenge the preconceptions of what you should and shouldn't do. Leslie is up next on the Audacious Living Podcast.
How are you?
Leslie, I'm so good, and it's so good to chat with you. I have to say, first off, and let's just jump into this. I mean, we call these interviews, I just want to talk, really.
Yeah, let's talk.
So first off, such a fun book. It was written in such a delightful style that just made it easy to read. Easy to just digest. The stories were real. The fact that you're hearing from real life people with real life stories that had real life feelings that probably many resonate with and go, oh my gosh, I felt the exact same way too. I think that was key. So, I think you knocked this one right out of the park.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Very, very, very proud of what you've done.
Oh, you made me cry. Don't stop. Stop. Aside from my family, and crazy shit that I've done in my life. This is for sure one of my top 5 accomplishments. I mean, I always wanted to write a book, but for me, it was, I wanted to write a book that was going to be me on a page. That was really everything that I wanted. I was going to lay it all bare. I was going to, make sure that everything that I was got transferred into that, so it felt like I was talking to you, my friend. That was the important thing to me. So, yeah.
Well, you totally did it, and your usage of the word rang through, like without question. Like, I'm like, yeah, she's one of my friends. We just chilling. This is what we do. So,
well, considering that if you talk to me, it's going to take about 12 seconds before I drop some kind of swear word. I like to use the entire English language. I like to. Yeah. Nothing made me happier than saying I'm going to include all of on why swearing is not bad in my book, because I'm so tired of people saying, like, it's not very professional. It's not very ladylike. You. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, first of all, I'm so not that girl. I'm so not that girl. And second of all, who are you to tell me that I have to adhere to your level of tolerance for that stupid shit? Like, I am all about love. All my intention is about love. I care about the important stuff. Like, am I offending race, religion, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, ability, disability? That's important to me. The rest of it, off. Get a life. Makes me mad.
Now that we got that out of the way.
Now I will not swear. I will not swear.
The censorship button was just going beep, 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 beep. But now that we got that out of the way, we alluded to it, we talked about it, the book, Swagger, unleash everything you are and become everything you want. That is a big title. Like, that is a huge, huge title. Unleash everything. The piece in that title that Leslie, I want to start with is the unleash part, because what that says to me clearly is it's already inside all of us.
Yes.
And we need a way of unearthing or unlocking that. I want you to talk about that. Let's start there.
I love the fact that you got that so completely, because that really is what it's all about. This is not about learning some behaviors that are external to you and that you have to watch other people and model it, or you take a master class in order to figure it out. It's everything that you already are, because everyone has swagger. It is 100% unique to every single individual. And quite frankly, you couldn't learn it by watching somebody else, because you'd be learning about their version of swagger, not your own version. The key to it is, I define swagger as the ability to manifest who you really are and hold on to it in the face of all of that psychological crap that's going to come for it, regardless of the situation or environment. And that means that it is about your authentic truth, the things that matter to you, the behaviors that are natural to you, the things that bring you joy, the wisdom that is in your head, the creativity that you may be holding back or afraid to unleash. All of that is what's going to make you magical and special. It does not come from the outside. You are everything. That's, if you look at it, my little Easter egg for my book is, the title is Unleash Everything You Are and Become Everything You Want. But highlighted in yellow are the words, you are everything.
That is amazing, because I will tell you, Leslie, the question that oftentimes in a lot of people's minds is, am I enough, right? Are the things inside me, is that enough? Or do I have to go and study someone else and learn how they've done? And not that we can't say that there's things you can't learn from people to build into yourself to help you grow and develop. But in terms of emulating what other people are doing, often that's done because people are questioning. You are everything. They don't think they're everything.
Well, it's a kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy or a catch-22, because if you think that you're not enough, then you don't release into the world your thoughts and your feelings and your opinions and your contributions. And thus you can never really know if you are enough.
Right.
If you're only 3/4 lived or half lived, you're always going to feel half seen and half heard and half accepted and half loved. So it's a two-way pipe. If nothing gets out, then nothing can get in. And although I do not want people to put their stake in external validation, because I think it's bull, you know what, because I already swore enough, so we don't want to make you beat me more. We all in this life just want to be seen. We want to be heard and accepted for who we really are. That's why we're the closest to the people who we feel safest with. That's why those friendships and those relationships are so deep and profound, because we give them our stuff and they can love us for all of our stuff. But then when we go into the professional world, we feel somehow that we cannot give our stuff.
Well, it doesn't belong to the professional world, right?
Which is bull. I don't know who wrote that down somewhere. Who wrote that down? Because whoever it is, I'm going to go smack them upside the head, first of all. And second of all, I'm going to burn that book because it is not true. It's just not true.
Yep.
There is not a handbook that someone gives to you at the beginning of your first day on the job that says, here are the rules of assimilation. You must walk and talk this way. You must dress like this. You must not do this. You must do that. No, it's a story that we tell ourselves. It's an unnecessary story. And I'm not talking about professionalism.
No.
Right? It's not about that.
Professionalness, right.
It's not about that. Because professionalism, again, in my opinion, and I've worked in the corporate world for years, and believe me, I've trained at the highest levels of the corporate world. Professionalism is about doing your good work. It's about being accountable. It's about being respecting and being respectable in your environment, in that you bring things to the table that are worthy of respect and you treat others with respect. It's about lifting other people. It's not about bringing them down. It's about being a contributor to the collective, to the whole. That to me is what defines professionalism. It's not about dressing a certain way or talking a certain way or following some weird set of rules. It's about bringing good humanity to your organization and to the people that you work with. That's what's professional,
That's so important. That's so important. And I love the fact you touched on that. I want to go back, Leslie, because you have such a clear and obvious passion about human potential and recognizing that and unleashing that. What's your origin story? Where did this come from for you? Like, how did this, because again, your passion on this shines through. Like, you have a hard time holding back on this, and I love it. But like, is this where you always were? Like, how did you get here?
I was never someone who fit in when I was little. I was super bright, super precocious, completely ADHD off the walls. I felt really huge feelings. I had an unnatural amount of empathy. I could pick up on things really easy. My EQ was pretty high. It was a very painful thing to be me as a kid. And I just didn't fit in. I was, however, very fortunate to have parents who celebrated the crap out of my uniqueness. And my mother in particular would always remind me that who I was special and magical and unique. Now, don't get me wrong. There were things, like I say in the book, there were things that she, like every parent, inadvertently said that gave me challenges that we all carry into our lives. But fundamentally, she reminded me that everything that I was going to be the thing that was going to serve me well in this life, that I was going to be able to use all my stuff and all my passion. And she kept telling me that I should never change to suit other people. It doesn't mean it wasn't painful and difficult and all the way through, because like when I was 14 with my shaved head and my mohawk in Jewish suburban Montreal, it was not so cute. And the 14-year-old boys were not having any of it. It was not happening. And I used to cry to her and sometimes go, I should just be like everybody else. And she would say, Leslie, she said to me, if you don't show up as exactly who you are, if you pretend to be someone that you're not in order to get someone to like you, at some point they're going to figure out who you really are, and then they're going to reject you. And that's brutal. But if you come in real from the first second, if they don't like you, who cares? No harm, no foul. It's like you're just not for everybody. And besides, she said, if a guy is too dumb to recognize what an amazing girl you are, What would you want to go with such a dumb guy for anyway? Mic drop moment, genius. And I just applied that to my whole life. If a company is too dumb to recognize what an amazing asset you're going to be, what do you want to work for such a dumb company for? If a boss is too dumb to recognize what an amazing contributor, who cares about that dumb boss? Yeah. It's great. Internal validation.
Amazing. And I love the fact that, first off, an amazing mom dropping that encouragement and planting those seeds at a very young age. And going back to the title of the book, you are everything. That's exactly what she was telling you, that you are enough. And so that's amazing. You talk about swagger as sort of being a journey. And I think that's an important one, because it's not that you kind of wake up one day and go, oh, I've got my swagger. It's a bit of a realization as we go through this unearthing process that we talked about earlier. So you talk about what that journey looks like for people. And I know it's going to be different, right? It's not going to be the exact same. I get that, right? But just
yeah. Everybody's journey is unique, and I think it never really ends. That's the thing, is that it's a life's work. It's something that you commit to, and you say, I want to unleash my swagger. I want to manifest who I really am in this world. Then you have to start with self-awareness. That's the first thing, is to understand what specifically is holding you back. I come from the training world, so this book doesn't play. It is not just fluffy wuffy inspiration. It's like it holds your hand and it walks you through those steps one by one, because it can be really overwhelming to go, oh my God, well, what is it? And by the way, if you wake up one morning and think your swagger has magically unleashed overnight, you're wrong. It hasn't. It's just you maybe woke up feeling fresh, but you didn't wake up feeling swagger. So self-awareness is the first thing. If you can recognize which blocker, I've identified some fundamental blockers that get in the way of everyone's swagger. And if you can recognize where specifically you're getting stuck, it may be all of them, it may be one or two, it may be more here or more there, you can start to focus and inwards to recognize, okay, what's happening in this moment? How do I hold up a mirror to my feelings and what's going on in my head when I'm in certain situations, to go, oh yeah, that's the moment that I became afraid, or oh, that's the moment where the insecurity kicked in, or oh, that's when I felt like I had to pretend to be someone that I wasn't. Because we all know it. We all know when it's happening because we feel it, right? But now it's about starting to recognize it and taking note, and then looking at those exercises to say, okay, what do I do now? If I want to work on this, what's something practical I can do? And I just break it down step by step by step. And over time, as you practice, just like anything, you get better and better and better. I even have an exercise that's about learning how to speak your truth in the mirror. Because if you're not used to speaking your truth, it's not going to come out easy, and it's not going to come out particularly well without some practice. So even that is like, what is the sound of my own truth? What does my face look like? Do I look afraid when I'm speaking my truth? Or am I in my body? Am I in my place of power? All of those things. But this is designed to walk you through it for real. That's the purpose of it.
So speaking our own truth, with the inability to do that, would that be considered a swagger blocker?
The ability to
not speak our own truth.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that is a symptom of blockers. I refer to truth as being one of the key drivers of swagger. There's 3 swagger drivers, and that's your truth, your intention, and your self-belief. Okay? Your truth is what you bring to the world. It's in your behavior and it's in your words. It's all we've got. The ability to walk our talk and talk our walk. That's all we've got, because we've got to prove it somehow. The intention is our why. Why are we doing it? Because if we're doing stuff to big up ourselves and put down other people, that is not swaggery, my friend. That is not going to go well for you. So your intention has to be in some way to contribute to the collective, to the greater good. Because one of the secrets is that speaking your truth doesn't have to just be about you. Yeah. When you're in your place of truth, it's good for you, but it's also good for other people. And if you're smart, you'll figure out how to frame it as such, because people are going to be all about hearing it if they can see the value for them in your truth. If your truth is to bring somebody down, or if it's to, it's to show yourself up, or if it's to be cruel, or if it's to be disrespectful, it ain't gonna go well, and rightfully so. And self-belief is the thing that you can go to when you don't have confidence. And that's the big secret. So much of what people believe that swagger is about is this magical pixie dust that is sprinkled upon you at birth, apparently, called confidence. And it's a total fallacy.
Well, you lived it because your mom gave you confidence as a young girl. So you know what you're talking about.
Well, here's the thing about confidence is that, people talk about the fake it till you make it. And they think that that's going to give you confidence. It's not. So really, really bad advice. Don't do it. The thing about confidence is that it can only come as a result of legit competence. Only after you have done something many times and proven to your own skeptical brain that you have a baseline of knowing what you're talking about. I've done this. You could throw me in a bunch of different situations. I could handle myself. You start to feel your bad self. You're like, yeah, I know how to do this. I'm good. And that's what confidence really is. The problem with confidence, though, is as soon as you step out of your comfort zone, as soon as the world throws you, a curveball, or you've got to step into change, your confidence is going to be shaken because the competence is not yet there to support it. And so we're constantly in this kind of spin dryer of competence. Oh my God, please. Okay, I have confidence. Yay. But there are times when you can't rely on this rock solid thing called confidence. You've got to then turn to self-belief, which is the feeling that even without knowing exactly what I'm doing at this point, I trust that I can step off the cliff and I'm not going to die. I'm not going to crash and burn.
Right.
I'll be able to take one step at a time and the ground will somehow reveal itself underneath me if I just don't look down, if I just keep moving forward. And in this new place, wherever I am in my journey, I will over time develop the competence that will give me confidence.
Right.
That's the beautiful thing. So that's the key. I think the drivers are key to being able to unleash your swagger.
Right. And I like that over a period of time because over the period of time, what you're doing is you're collecting experiences. And those experiences help feed into your ability to move forward because sometimes you're in a situation and you go, wait a second, I've been here before, or this looks familiar. And this is what I did to get me here, or maybe this is what I should have done to do that before. So the experiencing is another big one.
Well, also, we have so many more transferable skills than we think. I mean, it's unbelievable. People think that they are their resume or something, that on paper, if this wasn't part of their job description, that they somehow didn't learn it. Oh my God, are you a human being who lived among other human beings? Believe me, you learned it. Somehow. Yes, there might be some chunk of technical knowledge that you don't have, but it doesn't matter. That's learnable. The who you are as a human being is the key to it. If you have lived among other people and paid attention to them and gotten a sense of human dynamics and so on and so forth, you can transfer that shit anywhere. Every career that I've had in my life, I have had zero experience for. Zero. I would like to state for the record, zero. I talked my way into every gig I have ever had and used my self-belief and my transferable skills. And it worked out just fine, including when I started a training company. Zero experience, no accreditation, no nothing. That was 13 years ago. It's going just fine.
It is. In the book, you talk about fake it till you make it, and you talk about switch that to feel it till you find it. And I even posted that because it resonated with me so strongly. I think it's powerful because you're right. Faking it isn't a way you go through life because it leads to inherent problems along the way.
Oh yeah, that's a guaranteed way to trigger the imposter syndrome because you kind of are an imposter legit. That's the first thing. And second of all,
for those that may understand imposter syndrome, can we go back and define that just so we're clear?
Okay, so the imposter syndrome is real. It is a real thing. The Harvard Business School identified this thing where people honestly believe that it's just a matter of time before everybody around them has this big revelation that they actually have no idea what they're talking about. And they're going to stand up in the middle of a meeting and go, wait a second. I just realized you have but imposter, you are not legit, and it's a real fear. Women suffer from it more than men, surprise. And creative people suffer from it the most of anyone because it's so subjective, the nature of their work. And if you are in the fake it till you make it, you're impostering yourself, So it's such grounds for insecurity. And the other problem with that is that it limits your ability to own where you are in your journey.
Right.
Nobody comes out of the womb with a degree. Nobody comes out of the womb with 35 years experience in doing something. It is all learned over time. And everybody started from the bottom. Now they're here. Everybody. So you've got to own where you are so that you can chill a little bit and say, without all this fear holding me back, I can be open to learning. And please, I can ask people for help because I'm not pretending that I know everything. And if you stop pretending, you can ask people who are more experienced than you and more adept than you to share their wisdom. And if you ask right, believe me, they will. And if you're super duper smart, you'll go tell everybody how this incredibly smart person made you smarter. That's the key.
Leslie, you're asking people to be vulnerable now, is what you're asking people to do. And
yes, I am.
That's a whole other issue. You want me to expose the world that I don't know everything? Come on.
I do. Because it's true. It's true. So you're not saying I'm incompetent. You're not saying I'm incapable. You're just saying I'm on this side of knowledge. That's all. I'm on this side of knowledge. And once you share it with me, I will be on that side of knowledge. And then I will implement that and then I will pay it forward. And that is okay because that is true. And there's nothing worse than when you're working. Think about it in the professional world. If you have somebody who's more junior to you and you ask them to help you with something or to deliver something and they go, yeah, I'm on it. Got it. Oh, it's all good. I'm going to kill him and smash it. And then turns out they have no friggin' idea what they're doing and they totally screw it up, or you have to give them feedback 97 times, or they hold back the project or whatever. And you say to them, why didn't you just tell me that you weren't clear? Why didn't you ask me a whole bunch more stuff? Why didn't you spend some time with me? And they go, well, I didn't want to let you down. Except you did.
So,
by talking crap, just give it to me straight. You'll learn how to do it and then you'll be better for the next time. Yes. High five. Let's go. What stories are people telling themselves? It's crazy what we do to each other and to ourselves.
It's in that handbook that you got to find and burn. It's somewhere in that. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
I think we'll have a movement. If anybody can find those handbooks, we're going to have a group burning. A group burning, in a dung heap.
You talk about some blockers, swagger blockers, and so when I looked at the list and read through them, stuff like fear and pain, those are things that you can understand, and most people would, if you'd ask most people what the blockers were, they'd probably identify at least those two, I would imagine. The ones that kind of surprised me a bit was persona and ambition. Like those are things that I would always thought those are good things to have, especially ambition. Especially reaching for the top, especially never being satisfied. But those blockers, swagger, what you talking about that?
The problem with ambition is that it can have you behaving in ways that are not authentic to you.
Okay.
If you, listen, believe me, I'm all about achieving. I'm all about aspiring. I'm all about success. I'm all about going after your dreams. But the problem with pure ambition is that it has a tendency to get you to focus in the wrong places. You start focusing upwards to whatever the next rung on the ladder might be. So you're really fixated on it, and all of your behaviors are supporting that. You're trying to get noticed. You're trying to prove yourself. You're trying to bark with the big dogs. You're trying to hide any of the flaws that you might have, all of those things. And that's going to get in the way of you being real. And if you're busy focusing upwards, what's going to get missed is the ability to focus inwards, to focus left and right to your colleagues and peers, which is critical. And even worse, focusing on your followers, on your supporters, the people who have the power to lift you to that next level. And because you're so caught up in your own experience, because you're trying to satisfy something for yourself, you forget about the people around you. And that is no bueno for swagger in any way, shape, or form. So I say, instead of worrying about ambition, focus on being in your place of excellence. If you're in your place of excellence, if you're trying to contribute meaningfully to the collective, if you're trying to do the best work possible, if you're trying to grow the people around you and support them, you will get to where it is you want to go because you will be supported and lifted by the people around you.
Gotcha.
You don't have to climb so freaking hard. It will happen. I promise you. You know, you want to dream.
Right.
You want to dream, you want to aspire, you want to plan, but you do not want to do it at the expense of your authenticity, at the expense of your truth, at the expense of your heart and what it is that you believe in the world. Never at that.
So to kind of get away from that tunnel vision almost, right? Because that's what you're doing. You're creating a tunnel vision. You're blocking out the rest of the world. I got to get to the next level. I got to grow. I got to get big, and and how I get there is the most important thing, and that's it, right? So I hear that. So then persona, because persona is another one that, again, it's good to have persona. It's good to be known for something, right?
Well, the thing is that you want to be known for who you really are, because again, if you don't show people who you really are, and they do really like it, what is it that they're liking? How do you let that go in and fill you up? So if you're putting on a false front in order to impress people and they're impressed, they're not really impressed by you. If you're putting on a false front to be loved and people love you, they're not really loving you. If you're putting on a false front to get noticed, but they're not really noticing you, what is the point? So instead, you've got to figure out, how can I manifest everything that I am and recognize who is appreciating my realness? Who's getting me? We cannot be for everyone.
Right.
We cannot be for everyone, and we shouldn't be for everyone.
And Leslie, that's a big one, because I think a lot of people are kind of trying to please and want to make everyone happy, but you're just going to have some people that will not like you, no matter what you do.
Yep. Or will be neutral to you. You know, there's in the book I talk about swagger haters, and there's a formula that I use for swagger haters, and this was given to me by someone named Jen Huggins in the book, and she's amazing. And what she said was, you need to have 3 people in your life who just think you suck. Like they criticize everything you do. They're trolls. They'll come out of the woodwork. You know, they're not feeling you. You know that they're rolling their eyes and they're hating on you and stuff and whatever. Okay. Then you need 4 people who are kind of neutral. They're like, yeah, you're good. It's fine. It's all good. Whatever. Do you, boo? Kind of neutral. And then you need 3 people who think that the sun shines out of your behind, that you walk on water, that you can do no wrong. You are the king, the queen, the master, the mistress of life. You are the bomb diggity.
That's my mom.
Okay, that's right. You need at least those. Now extrapolate that out in numbers. So as long as you've got the 3, 4, 3, because first of all, the swagger haters are there to remind you that haters gonna hate.
That's right.
And it's okay. Because if you know that they're there and you accept that they're there, you know how to deal with them. You can be like, oh, it's fine, whatever. Everyone's got to have haters. The people who are neutral will keep you humble and say, I'm not going to impress everybody. They just think I'm fine. And then you got to have your cheerleaders and your champions to keep you jacked up all the time. Because if you only have your cheerleaders, you get a big head and you're impossible. If you only have the haters, well, it can be hard to survive in life with that. And if everybody's neutral too, then you're like, well, it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who thinks that that I'm badass? Is there anyone who thinks I'm really cool? So find that balance in your life. And it's a reminder that you're not for everybody, but those who you are for are going to love it and celebrate and all the rest of it. And then most people only care about themselves anyway. They're just kind of meh. You're like, it's all good,
I get it. And I think that's a great formula because you're right. Not everyone's going to feel you. Not everyone's going to like you.
I don't want anyone to like, if everybody digs me, it means I'm vanilla. And I am so far from vanilla. I'm like a pumpkin spice chocolate double twisty mocha frappuccino with extra foam, a little dash of cayenne pepper, and some chocolate chunks.
Yeah.
And that is not going to be everybody's order. And it would really worry me if everybody thought that I was awesome. I'd go, I'm doing something wrong. I'm not pushing it enough. I'm trying to speak to everybody. And I'm probably blanding out my message. I'm not bringing my full self to the party because I'm trying to fit in or something. I would be very nervous if I was for everybody. Please God, don't ever say, oh my God, everybody in the world is going to love your book, which some people have said. I'm like, no, don't say that. There's got to be people who go, she's crass.
Yeah.
Rude. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's an idiot. Inevitably. Bring it.
Well, listen, again, that goes back to your point. Not everyone is going to feel your swagger. But what that says is that you're being real and authentic to who you are.
Yeah.
So
you know what? I am also too old to care. That happens. There is really an advantage that comes with living a bunch of years. And if my advice I have a 19-year-old daughter, and my advice to all young people everywhere is, oh my God, the things that you worry about today, which are inevitable because that's where you are in your journey. But take a moment to remember, this is not the stuff that you will remember in the future. And it's not the stuff that will define you in any way, shape, or form. So just try and have a dose of let it go-ness. Because, it's like it will not carry you anywhere positive. I remember, whenever my daughter would feel criticized, or she would feel like people were hating on her for whatever reason, because she was really cool, but she was also really smart. And some of her friends would like give her a hard time for being really smart. And I said to her, you know what your response should be? And what? I said, say, would you like fries with that? Because that's what they're going to be saying to you in 10 years. So do you?
That's it. That's it. You also talk about mats and pats. And I love those because we all do it.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. We have so much more control over the direction that our thoughts take than we think. I coach a lot of people who say, well, I'm always going to the negative and it just happens and I can't help it and I go there and stuff. We actually have the ability to change directions. A gnat is a negative automatic thought and a pat is a positive automatic thought. The brain has about 25 seconds to decide which way it's going to go. That's a fair bit of time. It's not instantaneous. We actually have the power to consider that direction. So if somebody, how in a meeting, somebody will say something to us and it sounds on the surface like it's a compliment, but the brain automatically goes, wait a second, maybe they're just saying that because they wanted to look good in front of everybody else. Oh my God, maybe they didn't really mean it. Maybe that was sarcastic. Maybe it was backhanded. Oh my God. And then you go into this whole negative, trip. What you could also do is go, oh, I got a compliment.
Thank you.
And it was said in front of other people. That's so lovely. That filled my heart. I am filled with gratitude and appreciation right now. Yay me. I'm a badass. You can do that too. That is your choice. And if you don't make that choice, you'll go where you've always gone. And if you're someone who tends towards being insecure or being filled with fear or have a strong, memory of pain, you're just going to keep telling yourself that story over and over again. So you can train yourself to have positive automatic thoughts or catch yourself in those moments of negative automatic thoughts and flip that script fast, to do it fast. And over time, like anything, you will learn to have way more pats than you do gnats.
That's it. Leslie, I gotta tell you, I'm so appreciative of us sitting down here and chatting. We probably set this up a month ago, and I've been excited to sit down. And one of the main reasons is I see such a deep connection between swagger and living this audacious lifestyle that we talk about on the podcast, right?
Yes, my brother. Yes, preach.
There's so much connection between the two. You know, one of the messages that we talk about, one of the foundational principles is that it's so important for us as individuals. You want to call it boldness or being courageous, whatever. You know, it's so important for us to step out and live that audacious life, not only for ourselves, the impact it has on us and gets us to a better place, but those watching around us, because they're inspired by our greatness. And we, in turn, can do the same thing for them. And I see the exact same thing with the swagger concept.
Oh, yeah. I think whether you're living, an audacious life or you're living a life fueled by your swagger, the world is a better place for it. Not just for you, but for everyone around you. If we could just, unleash the swagger in every human on the planet, the world would be a place far, far more creative, far more accepting, far more compassionate, far more fun, and far more badass.
You're making my heart melt, because I'm telling you, Leslie, that is my preaching continuously. Our world is in such desperate need of kindness, compassion, love, all of these things. And as long as we're struggling with not giving that to one another, then we're going to always be in this constant struggle. Yeah.
Listen, RuPaul said, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else?
And she said it in the exact same voice too.
Can I get an amen up in here? RuPaul is my spirit guide.
Leslie, this has been great. Can you let our listeners know where they can pick up a copy of their book, The Swagger? It's not out yet, right? Or it's about to be out?
It comes out on May 10th. You can pre-order now.
They're like butterflies in your own.
I'm so excited. It feels like, it's such a long journey, this process of writing a book, and now it's right around the corner. It's, it's weeks away. So May 10th, you can order it and it'll come to you the next day, but you can pre-order your copy now. So I encourage you to do that. It's all good. You can, so get that Amazon in whatever country that you're in. You can get it on Books A Million. You can get it in Barnes & Noble. If you're in Canada, you can also get it on Indigo, all the places. And you can follow me on all the socials. You know what I'm like on the soch. I'm all about inspiration every day. I have a lot of fun with it, and I do crazy stuff, and I embarrass myself on a regular basis because I keep it real. So you can follow me on Instagram at Leslie Ehm Speaks, on LinkedIn at Leslie Ehm, Twitter at Leslie Ehm, and Facebook at Leslie Ehm Speaks. I also am on Clubhouse every Monday.
Oh, look at that.
If you ever want to come and hang out with me on Clubhouse, I have a Swagger Collective room every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Central Time. So come and hang out. It's a new guest, new people. Are you on Clubhouse? You got to be my guest.
I should.
Yes, you are. Okay, we're gonna.
I haven't jumped on the Clubhouse, and I keep saying I gotta check it out, but.
I'm gonna hook you up. I have an invite. I'm gonna hook you up with an invite. We're gonna do it. We're gonna big it up on Clubhouse, like for sure. And yeah, and so if you go to swaggerthebook.com, there's perks. You can join the Swagger Collective, all that good stuff, and learn more about what I do as a speaker and as a swagger coach and all that cool stuff. It's all Leslie all the time. It's more than anybody could ever handle, I swear.
It is. Again, the book is Swagger. Unleash everything you want and become everything. Unleash everything you are and become everything you want. Leslie, this has been awesome. Had a great time. Thank you. Congratulations on a fantastic book. And we'll keep doing our thing.
Oh, thank you. This was so delicious. What a great way to start the day. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Take care, Leslie.
Take care, babe.
Back we here on the podcast, and I got to give Leslie a big shout out for joining the Audacious Living Podcast and sharing her thoughts and insights around swagger. Again, the title of her book is called Swagger, Unleash Everything You Are and Become Everything That You Want to Be. It's a super fun read, and I encourage you to definitely head over to her website and check it out. Enough can't be said about the importance of us discovering our own swagger. And just like Leslie said, it's not something that you fake until you figure it out. So it's not fake it till you make it, because that always will backfire on you. So you can't fake it. You gotta be real. You gotta be authentic. You got to be the real you. Hey, listen, if you haven't registered for email notifications of the podcast, you can do so by heading over to my website at bestaudaciouslife.com, enter your email, and you'll be alerted every time new content gets sent out. It's the easiest and best way, and I'd encourage you to do that. We've sadly reached the end of another episode, and again, it was a great one. Thanks again for Leslie for teaching us and talking to us all about swagger. I gotta, as always, give a big shout out to our listeners. Your ongoing support is always, I can't say this enough, it's always appreciated. So until next time, stay safe, be kind, show love to one another, and be audacious.
You've been listening to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by Leslie Stevenson. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be audacious.